Thank you, sir, for the introductions, and good afternoon, everyone. So, I'm working for energy efficiency around for 15, 14 years, and mostly in Johnson Controls. So, mostly I will cover this entire topic on the building efficiency because I'm related to mostly in the building efficiencies. So, it is related to BMS, then chillers, then fire and safety, so lightings. These things related to my present job area. So, as a Johnson Control, we have all the this products which related to building efficiencies like chillers, this BMS, this then compressors, and some other building related softwares. So then mostly 90% of the buildings in the world, highest building is covered by the Johnson Control service in the fire and safety and BMS. So before starting that this topic, I will like to introduce some correlated areas where you we need some basic ideas to start with that this software related to artificial intelligence. The first one is the energy management and audit, because this all applications is as a part of the solution of energy audit. When you go for the energy audit, then only you suggest that you would just go for some type of application with AI based software that will save the your energy in a particular facility. So this is energy. Second is performance contracting, and mostly this type of product the part of performance contracting. Performance contracting means is the some type of energy performance contract that you have to be give us some guarantee that this much of saving will become after 10 years, 15 years. So if there's a performance contract, then you have to know the measurement verifications. So when you just implement this type of ECM, energy consumption measures in a facility, you have to verify the your saving. For verifying the saving, there is a particular method is there, MNB. So MNB, there's a certification is there from the certified people verified that because of that ECMs. Let's say this we have implemented some this chillers performance enhancement tool. Based on that, this mass of saving is achieved, and that need to verify by someone from the MNB certified people. Then building automation is a very essential part of this type of software, because entire software run on some data, and this data is taken from the existing BMS. So for chillers, pumps, then cooling towers, issues, then user sites, the room temperature, set points, everything need to come from the even flow, pressure, temperature, everything have to come from the building automation system. So you have the fair idea on building automation system, how things equipments are connected, what are the data point available, what are the missing data. Then you can go for the next level of the software implementations. Second is that this I am presently working this some type of AI ML, this artificial intelligence and machine learning supported application, which used to optimize the chiller plant operation. Chiller plant means it operates and controls entire chiller plant, including chillers, pumps, cooling towers, and other flow control valves. So this is called as energy modeling. So you have some fair idea on the energy modeling before going to this type of applications. And last one is you should have a fair idea on all electric equipments, chillers, pumps, and boilers, cooling towers, heat pumps, so that when you just input the data in that particular system, you should know the input data is correct, and you need to do some calculations, because every equipments have a performance efficiency. So here in this type of software, you efficiency is not just input output means cannot calculate directly. For pumps, this type of particular AI based applications, you have to go to the pump curve, then you have to take the all the different point where its flow pressure is vary, so that in actual reality, when chiller will or entire plant will be run, it will cover all the points, all the scenario, and that's why you need a pump curve. So you need to know how the pumps efficiency calculated, what are the parameters which affect the pump performance. So same thing related to chillers. you know how chillers react, how chillers parameter, which are the important parameters, how its calculation is done for the chillers. So these are the interlink areas before going into the software which use the AI and ML applications. So if you go to the smart building, what is a smart building? Smart building, there are four different type of criteria. One is a visualization. Visualizations means uh, here you have some type of application is there. You every time you can go to and see what are the data, how the trending is going in the entire buildings, how the equipment's performing, how the occupancy is there, how the cooling comfort level is in different areas. So this is the visualizations are related to the data. Second is the intelligence. Intelligence means in today in different buildings you can find there is a automated fault detection and diagnostic. It means there is some application is there which can detect the faults. Let's say there are some areas in some in an office, let's say in a university there's a classroom in the AC is there, if temperature is high, so there is some system is like that, it can detect the high temperature at that particular zone and it can be uh, transferred from mobiles or some other application to the maintenance team, and they can use do for the go for some corrective measures. So this is intelligence. It can detect fall and find out the present conditions of the buildings. Second, next in integration. Integration means you need to integrate all the sensor system everywhere. You can get the all data one centralized systems. Last one is monitoring. Monitoring means there is a particular screen, maybe some applications is there. You can monitor the entire building in a centralized system. So I'm starting next to the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence mostly in our my profile. I mostly use the machine learning. So machine learning is the subset of artificial intelligence, and there are other two parts, deep learning and in deep learning, but which is not used in not I'm not aware of that deep learning, but mostly use machine learning. So and this all the equipments, all the systems is connected to one particular platform. It is called Internet of Things. Internet of Things is this is a physical objects that can combine all the network software applications to collect, transfer, analyze, and the controls responses. So now there is a phases. There's a world is more in the world present world, data is more precious than the oil because of this artificial intelligence, and this data can be used to optimize your cost and performance of equipments and buildings. Then we next there's a difference between the traditional and the machine learning. So in traditional, we do the predictions. Prediction is done from the collected data and some handcraft model, and it's feed to the computers, means by some Excel sheet, something like that. Then we calculate something, and from there we had do the predictions, maybe energy savings, maybe power consumptions. So that's done on the manual entries of data. So whereas in machine learning, it is two phases then. One in learning, then predictions. In first phase, you have to input the data. We have some baseline data for last 1 year. You have to input the data. Then computer will make a model. Then after implementation of that particular software on the site, it will take the new data and it do the auto correction on the model. From there it will take some decision, and from there decision it's controls the all the equipments, and hence it's reduce the energy consumption and cost of particular equipments. So mostly done in the it's higher set like chillers, boilers, and other areas like lighting, it's not very much applicable because their consumption is very low, whereas in a building 70% is consumption by the chiller plant, and only 10 to 12% consumption is for lightings. So this is the how the intelligence IT. So there are different level. This IoT is the Internet of Things where you collect all the sample data is gathered. Then transmission is done by LTE, 5G or Wi-Fi, and data analysis is done. Some big data is called a big data. So data analysis, there is a storage. From the storage, mostly this storage is cloud now. So we in the JCI we use the Azure platforms to collect the data. All the calculation is all the data stored in the clouds, and from there all the calculation, everything is done on the cloud, and only the monitoring is done on the local computers. So second stage is the AI, where judgment is done. So it is cognitions and learning and deductions. Then value additions is the monitoring. It reduce the energy cost, reduce there's some accidents. Maybe in this is only in a border area where I covering all the this transport and productions. Then increase convenience of day life, then reducing the healthcare cost and something. It is in border cost. It's using everywhere. So challenges and limitations. The advantage of this AI is that it easy to identify trend and pattern. Like trend and pattern means for chillers. Normally, what we do in the earlier days, we take some manual process to record the data. So for any equipments, then you have to every 1 hour I have to go to this plant and I entry all that data in a particular sheet. Then this is a complete manual, and transfer to a usable data is very hard in means old process. But whereas in the AI and the base application, you have the ready data in Excel form, then that can be used for any type of analysis. Then human intervention is not required in many places. If there is no like there is some system is there, when there is no occupancy, automatically switch off the light. When there is no occupancy, it automatically switch off the air handling units. So it's also reduce the cost because of that automated decision making capabilities. Second is then continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is done. Why this ML is it's learning process, because it's take the last trend data. Last trend data is analyze the trend data, then it decide what need to be done in the next. Let's say in some particular building in a area in a buildings, its set point is almost maybe 20. So what you will do, it will take some maybe the 15-20 days data, and it will realize that their occupancy is low, still it maintaining 20 degree, then it will reduce the it will increase the set point. So it is a continuous improvement done on the self-learning. And second is the handling multi-dimensional, multi-variability data, and it's a wide applications. Whereas the and disadvantage is there's a error in the data. Maybe when you're collecting the data, you don't know how the sensor is reacting. Some in most of the places you'll find the sensor is incorrect, like temperature sensors, mostly because of some non-cleaning procedures. They are not maintaining the physical property of the sensor in the proper way. It may give you the wrong temperature error, temperature data. That's lead to a entire process in wrong directions, because this ML AI is take decision based on the completely on the data. If data is not correct, your entire decision will be wrong. Then interpretation of results is sometimes very tedious, because you need some subject matter expert to come on to a solutions based on the data received from this type of applications. Then time and resources, because people are lazy in this is a very new area. The people are lazy and to work in this areas like ML and AI. So data acquisition is one of the bigger problem, because if a facility is very big, then you have that much of capability to store the data, because it's a continuous process. This type of applications evaluate the data in every 15 minutes. So so every 15 minutes there is a internal process going on the entire systems. So it's need a huge data storage capacity. So these are the basic ideas on the ML and AI. So I will discuss some very specific applications where this type of AI and ML is used. So this is one is a connected equipments, means connected equipments. It's connect all the equipments in the centralized systems, where you can do the some type of rule-based fault detection and diagnostics. So this is not very much in the AI ML. The next is energy optimization in the optimization control in the chiller plant is a which has a complete use of AI and ML. So this is the connected equipment and enterprise management page. So here you see that this is called Johnson Controls Energy Management Systems, where these are the backnets. Backnets is a protocols which used to do the data communication from the billing management systems. So all the data connected to a backnet routers, and it is connected to a data collector. From data collector, it's all the analytics is done on the way, this clouds. So if you go to the home page, you can see this type of home page where you can see all the energy management data, like what is the energy consumption per square feet, what is the today consumption, what is the yesterday consumption. There's a comparison month to month, month to year. Then you can find out the chiller, all the equipment performance, how they are operated, how many fault has generated for last maybe anytime, maybe 1 day, 2 day, or 1 year. So what is the most critical fault? What is and this application also provides some type of facility that it can generate the work order, and this work order is automatically generated, and it can go to the plant this plant people, and they can do the corrections based on the this severity on the of the fault. So this is most related to FDD. This is fault detection diagnostics. So I will explain the fault detection diagnostic in the next page. So this is a chillers, and these are the parameters of a chillers. This is centrifugals, water cooled chillers. So these are the all parameters related to the chillers. So when you, the first thing, you have to collect it, all the data to the equipments. Then you have to create some type of logics. I have given one logic here. This is high pressure for condenser. Condenser high pressure, there are four detections will be done in three levels: low flow, high refrigerant charge, and then high inlet water temperature. These are the main reason for the high pressure in the condenser. Then you have to find out the data point for low pressure, which data points are connected. For low flow, the entering temperature, water temperature, and leaving temperature is can be used for the calculating the low flow. So because if your flow is low, then your delta T will be high. If flow is high, delta T will be low. From there, you can find out that your flow is low. Then you can refrigerant level, you can take these data points to calculate the fault in the refrigerant level. And next, how diagnostic will be done for this particular error. That and diagnostic will be there's some strainer clogs or valve close, some incorrect pump speed. These are the diagnostics. And diagnostic rule, you have to we run diagnostic rules, and these rules are written on the this particular application. And this based on this rule, this errors are appears in the systems, and it goes to the maintenance team. That's this like low pressure, high pressure is existing in this particular chillers, and these are the reasons. And also it give you the checkpoint for what need to be checked. Let's say low flow, what need to be checked: clean and repair strainers, open the valves. So it's cover the entire cycle of the systems. So this is called FDD. So this is very straightforward. There's no ML is used in this particular uh, applications. So writing the FDD, you know the entire system very well. Like for a chillers, say I have given some parameter like reduce condensed water flow. It helps some implication of other parameters like the instantaneous input power. So I green means it will increase, red means it will decrease, and zero means there is no effect on this particular change in the parameters. So if you go to last one, non-condensable in the refrigerant, then it will increase your power consumption, and it will increase your pressure across the evaporator. It will increase your high lead. 3 means your effect will be high. The condenser pressure will be very high. Then subcooling will be very high. So from this type of system analytics, you need to create some this type of flow chart. From there, you need to write the finally you need to write this uh, this logic, and this logic need to be input in the applications. And after implementing all this logic, then whenever there is an error, like refrigerant overflow, then it will detect that and it will be informed to the energy manager, and accordingly it will goes to that maintenance team, and they will take the corrective actions on that particular issue. So that is why it is called as this enterprise management systems. So this type rules is written is this way. Like first condition chillers is on, means second is the pressure is related to oil pressure. Oil pressure is higher than a set point, then your there is a error on your oil pressure oil pumps. So these are the benefits for this particular applications. You have some energy managers, they can use to trackle, analyze, and manage the energy. Then it use can be utility bill manager, tenant billing. Therefore, if some like some malls, there are multiple users. You can generate tenant bills for all the mm, tenants. Then greenhouse is shows facing enable building to showing their properties, energy conservation, and sustainability goals. And asset management can be done through FDD because it shows the problem with all the equipments. And then service manager can use for the diagnostic data to do the corrective actions. Then space management, then reporting, and finally you can create a report from all this data. There's the automated report generation capabilities there. Now we will go to the actual where the machine learning is used for chiller plan optimizations. I cannot show you the actual layout in the software because it is intellectual property, right? I will give some basic layout of the applications. So chillers plan optimization use this type of data. Basically, weather data is required because whenever chillers is mostly dependent on the weather. When and it operate and it's low on or high based on the weather and that particular area. Second, we need a this BMS trend. BMS trend is why required. We how the chillers is performing for a particular year, because the machine learning need a learning. So you should know how it's operated in the last year. Based on that learning, it will take the next decisions based on the new data. So we need to provide on some type of BMS trend on the chillers load and their set points, and then all the operating data. Then we need to collect all the design data for chillers, pumps, cooling towers, all equipments. And even we need the all control logics, how the chillers is, because let's say in a particular plant there are 10 chillers, the how these 10 chillers are prioritized, means which chillers is prioritized number one, number two, number three. When load goes on, accordingly number of chillers turn on, and when load goes on, accordingly the low priority chillers will be turned down. So we need all the control logic for the entire plant. Then we need the all utility rate. Utility rate in India is sometimes straightforward, but when like USA, there is different. They use different companies for the electrical consumption in different time of day. So utility rate you need to take the for the entire years based on the different suppliers. Then plant configuration and piping need to be taken from their mechanical layout, and with this mechanical layout you have to draw a complete plant in virtual applications. So this is the plan layout. This is the chiller's design data. This is the chiller part load data. So the part load data means it's different. It's CFT means condenser entering fluid temperature, different condenser and fluid temperature with different loading percentage. So kilowatt. This is on COP. Next kilowatt per tier. Kilowatt per tier changes with the condenser water entering temperature and the different type of loading percentage. So this data used to do some calculation for the coefficient. That coefficient need to be used in the particular applications. So this is the plant optimizer, mostly working logics. It's take input and predictions. It's take the utility market rate, load predictions, weather forecast, equipment performance, calendar maintenance. So this data is inputted, and it's also because it is not very fixed. When if you take a first data, you will take a sample. From data, it will learn. And when it's installed on the site, when a new data is coming, it will change the predictions. And based on the prediction, it will change the operating parameters. So it will predict the cost and optimization. Cost means almost energy cost is same. So it will equipment dispense system set points and chillers, cogen points, boilers, pumps. So it will dispatch a set point. So it will change the set point based on the ambient, based on the load side, based on the all the data it's taken from the BMS. So the machine learning is like a work this way. This is cloud-based MNB and dynamic sequence. Dynamic sequencing means here your set point or your set point is not fixed. It vary time to time based on the data received from the site. For maybe today is set point maybe 7, tomorrow it may be 8, sometimes it may be 5, and it's depend on the data received and the decision taken by the ML application within that particular software. So it is so you see it learn about how chillers is performed, adopt real-time orchestrations of the chiller operation driven by machine learning. So this is a complete loop of the machine learning in the chiller plant optimizations. So here see, this is my input are load forecast. This is chiller plant load. Then plant layout, I have to prepare a plant layout, how pumps are connected, how chillers are connected, how many cooling towers. It is header system, a distributed systems. So it's the heat exchangers. So even for this particular layout, I have to input all the data for in design data for the chiller, pump, chillers everywhere. For like chillers, I have to input design flow, design hair, design in inter-temperature outlet, the maximum temperature it can deliver, minimum temperature it can deliver. So all the operating parameter need to be input in the particular layout of the chiller plant. Then equipment performance is need to be inputted and this particular dynamic optimizers. Equipment performance, you have different model for all the different equipment. Chiller is a different for chillers there is a different method of calculating the coefficients. For pumps there is a different way of calculating the coefficients, and for cooling towers there is a different way of calculating the coefficients. From there and later pricing and everything, it's optimize schedules and operating set point. So here you see that it optimize the set point. So you know in a BW books that every change in 1 degree in set point reduce the consumption chiller by 3%. So if you reduce 1% of 1 degree in the chill water supply temperature, you can save around 3% of the total consumption for the chillers. So it will change the schedule, means which chillers it operate most efficient chillers which are available in the plant. It not let's say there are two type of chillers. One is why this York this is VHG chillers. One is non-VHG chillers. Then it will always prioritize to run the VHG chiller because VHG chillers can be run on the part load. So if non-VHG chiller if run on the part load, its consumption will goes high. So it it can take own decision which chiller need to be run and what temperature need to be maintained. That actually previously done by the plant this technicians. He look into the equipments and he did look into the load. Then he decide what set point to be maintained, which chiller need to be run. But here, based ML will decide all these two parameters. And this is the same. I just make a very simple way. This is the BMS systems. Then chiller operation data need to be input, equipment design data, then weather data, then monitoring application, then prediction optimization, then it continue evaluation energy performance with the time series and optimize the chill water temperature set point and operating schedule, and finally it will optimize chiller plant operation and controls. So you don't need any controller on the chiller plant. So somebody have to just look into the data. If something is wrong, then he can take some intervention. Otherwise, it will operate automatically. So these are the process. So first process, design data collection. Second is a plant chiller plant model creations. Then plant optimization performance model. Then scenario creation means here this particular application give you the calculation between the baseline and your optimal. Optimal means after optimization, what is the consumption, what is the baseline consumption. Let's say in particular chiller plant, we have 6 chillers, and 6 chillers have very old chillers, maybe this this maybe 2000 around 38 chillers. So when you replace with new chillers with VSD chillers, there are two scenarios. One scenario with the old chillers, second scenario will be the new chillers. Then you can compare both the scenario, and you do the calculation separately, and you can compare the saving across the two scenarios. So finally the simulation and result analysis. After that, you can go approve it for the further implementation on the site. So these are the equipment. These are the holistic way to the optimize the analysis of this equipment performance. Then weather forecast, load predictions. Mostly it depends on load predictions. So in this particular method, you can predict the load next 1 month based on your weather. So you don't need, then accordingly you can manage your load. If you know that what is my load for the next 1 month, then accordingly you can take some decision on load management. So utility pricing mostly is applicable in the US because they have different suppliers are there for a single facility. Based on the change of the utility rate, they can shift to the other suppliers to get some financial benefits. So optimizing results are here. See, in this particular, if you give it a different kilowatt per year and different loads, and here you will can give the calculate saving with respect to the baseline. In this particular model, the saving around 12%. And here the kilowatt comparison with the baseline and the optimal. So overall, this software is use ML and AI to operate the entire chiller plant, and it takes own decisions based on the training given by the data, means baseline data, and after that it takes its own decision based on the data collected after the implementation on the site. So that's all. But let me know if you have any questions.